Although,
I am
although I
upset.
will say that, oh, I will say that ending almost pushed it.
I mean, I'm not gonna spoil anything, but I was upset, and I had to defend my upsetness because like I don't see it. Like okay, so Alexander on Facebook, I put up that I was gonna see this yesterday again. Didn't go because Alexander just convinced me not to. But guess what? I'm gonna watch it tomorrow because my little cousin wants to go see this movie, and I'm like, nobody wants to take you. I will sit through the pain. I will sit
All
through it,
right.
and I'm going to pay for another movie because I am not giving this movie my money. And I will see if it's the biggest clusterfuck I've ever seen. And
It
when I
probably
say
will
when I
be the
say
second
biggest
time.
clusterfuck, I don't mean it's the worst movie I've ever seen. It's not. It is
No.
not. But the level of disappointment that I have for this movie is like
Yeah.
on another level of any movie I've ever seen. Ever.
Yeah, I mean, I said this in my review. It's not even among the worst superhero movies out there,
No.
but I think it's the most disappointing.
Yeah,
But
that's
Dylan, I know you loved it.
yeah. I
You
did.
love Man of
Dylan,
Steel.
I
So
did.
you must love
Dylan
this
loved it,
also.
but Dylan fell off from his initial review though after seeing it a
I
second
did.
time.
Well, like when I first watched it, which I think was like I still think the movie's really good, and I've seen the movie actually 3 times now. I saw it at the fan screening, saw it Friday night again in IMAX, and Saturday because my dad wanted to see it. I'm like, yeah, sure, I'll see it again. And the first time I was like, oh my
Yes, I saw
god,
your review.
this might be my favorite
You
comic
got
movie
me
I've ever seen.
hyped for, and you lied to me.
I was,
Christ.
which I do think is partly because it was just so much fun seeing the DC Trinity on screen for the first time, which is the same exact thing people said as with the Avengers. People say, oh well, you just can't capture the magic that of seeing all the Avengers on screen for the first time. I finally understood what people meant because I always thought it was cool, but I never like got excited or I never was like overly happy when I was watching the Avengers. I'm like, oh, it was a fun movie, but I wasn't like over the moon when people walked out like everyone else was. For me, that's what this movie did to me with the world building that they
Yeah.
did and stuff. And the
I
second time, I was like, you know,
We'll let you spew your
And-
love, and we'll let Alexander after. So keep going.
then the second time I saw it, I was like, you know, there's still a lot of good, but the editing is pretty bad.
No,
And-
no. Wait a minute. The editing is not pretty bad. The editing is
It's
the fucking
awful.
worst editing I've ever seen in my entire life. Like it is
It's
god
not.
awful. It is the room.
there are
You know why you say that? You have not seen Take 3 in.
Okay.
That is the worst editing I've
okay.
ever seen.
for
There
a
were
big budget
14
movie.
cuts
For a big
for a
budget
guy
movie.
jumping over a fence.
For a big budget
For a-
movie,
okay.
it's the worst editing I have ever
Exactly.
seen.
Considering that this movie cost $250 million, this movie lacks establishing shots, so you kind of get lost in where you are. And for costing $250 million, Doomsday looks like shit.
I don't care about any of that. I don't care about Doomsday. Honestly, I can give two shits about it. I care about how he was made, and maybe we'll spoil it later. But okay, so my thing is, who the fuck edited this movie, and then the people behind the movie saw the job and was like, perfect.
The
Because
same guy who edited Man of Steel.
well, then Zack Snyder, is he like sucking? Like, what's going on, Zack? I mean, the editing job in this movie is bad. Like, you can have all the amazing dialogue people are telling me, the amazing story, the Trinity, all this greatness. Who the fuck edited this movie? Like, it
And
is,
you know,
it is so poorly edited. And
to-
that's where I'm at. Is like, I'm just like, why is the editing so bad? Maybe if the editing was better.
I think
and-
I have an explanation as to why it's so bad. I'm not excusing it, but I'm saying what I think happened is because there is that ultimate cut that's coming out. It'll be like it's going to add like 30 plus minutes to this movie.
Oh God!
And I
Maybe that makes
think
sense.
that's and Zack Snyder's done this before with the Watchmen cut
Yes, it's a
from
better movie.
theatrical to directors. I think directors is I've only seen directors, but I thought it was pretty good. And but I looked into what the changes were exactly, and they added in a few scenes, but majority of the changes are just small transitions, and they add a shot there and they add a shot there, and they trim down the duration of that one shot from 3 to 4 seconds or something like that. Like that is majority of the changes are just small things like in between scenes. So I think what they did was Snyder had this 3-hour movie, and then Warner Brothers was very satisfied with it, but then they were like, guys, we cannot put a 3-hour movie in the theaters,
believe
so
it.
cut it out, and they cut out everything until what we got is the bare bones, exactly what you need to know to understand what's going
Uh,
on is in this
I
movie.
I think I disagree. I was
Yeah,
so
and
lost and confused, and I know comic books, and I was
Oh yeah.
so fucking
After I've seen
confused. Maybe if I
I've
see it
seen it
again, I'll
three.
be like, oh, okay. But the first time, I've only
There's a
seen it
lot of
once.
that.
I'm
When
like,
you watch it multiple times, there's a lot like, oh, that's what that was, and oh, that's what that was. But there's only really one thing in the whole movie that after watching multiple times that I'm still confused as to what the
so
motivation
don't say it
behind it
yet, but
was.
after
Yeah,
after
I won't.
Alexander gives his thoughts, I will for like 2 minutes ask a spoiler question. So
Okay.
Alexander, well Dylan, at least you came down because you initially gave it a
Oh yeah.
five, but after watching it a couple times, you've come down to a
I
four,
probably
which
like
is an eight.
I probably have four,
It's an eight. It's 8 out of
and
10. That's pretty good.
I'm gonna watch it. I'm gonna probably see it one or two more
No,
times
Dylan,
just because I still
stop,
haven't. Well,
Jesus,
stop,
I
how
Dylan,
can you
still I
survive?
still haven't used Movie Pass
stop
yet.
it, Dylan. It's
So
your
Then
it's free.
save it
stop,
for save your movie pass.
stop,
Save it for
Dylan.
something better.
Stop, Dylan. Okay, so Alexander, I saw your review. Your review's on your channel. If people want to see a more in-depth review of what you thought of the movie without spoilers, I'm not sure if your spoiler one is up yet.
No, I actually haven't recorded it yet.
Okay, so I know you dislike this one more than Man of Steel, which is
Yeah. Oh
interesting.
yeah.
I would love to hear just brief thoughts on reasons. I guess thoughts.
Well, okay, and this actually goes back to a theory that I've been presenting on this show for a while, is that Man of Steel was Nolan's fault because it just his fingerprints were all over it. But now watching Batman v Superman, I'm like, I am so sorry, Mr. Nolan. I am so sorry I ever accused you for.
I said the same thing. See, because for Rises, I was harsh on it, and after seeing this, I'm like, you know what? I deserve to get kicked in the nuts. I'm so sorry. I am
Yeah.
so sorry.
The big thing that really irritates me about this movie is for what they okay to see what to go with what Dylan said about how he never got excited during the big circle shot in the Avengers, but how he got excited for the Trinity part here. The
I've
problem
heard that.
is you just don't give a shit throughout most of this movie that when that scene came up, it just didn't matter. Even the audience I saw it with, they were clapping, but I could tell it wasn't as enthusiastic as with the Avengers.
Before you
And
keep
when the
going,
movie ended,
before you keep going, why the fuck was I in the only theater that nobody clapped and people were legitimately booing? Like,
oh, people were booing
I'm
it.
not making that shit up. People think I'm hating to hate. I was in a theater with 15 fucking people, and every time something happened, the dude next to me and the guys in front kept going, "What the fuck was that?" And maybe that ruined my experience, but people were genuinely shitting, like they were upset. And then the people behind me were like confused, like out people. And then when the movie finished, I swear to you, not one clap. All I heard going out the door was like, that was a fucking waste of time. What the fuck was that? It was okay. But all these people online keep telling me, oh, my theater clapped and cheered and roaring ovations. And when Wonder Woman showed up, chick behind me was like, who is that? Because she made no sense in the movie. Like, I was so lost. So I wanted to go to this magical theater that everybody went to, where there were cheers, where there was people going insane. When Batman showed, like, I wanted to go to this magical theater because I think that would have made my experience better. I think I went at the wrong time. I went at 7 o'clock on a Thursday, and my
No,
theater was
that's
empty.
the correct time.
No, because my theater,
That's when all the fanboys should be
I
like
was-
like all out in full force at that point time.
there was nobody in my theater.
That's insane.
Like, maybe it was because there was one at 7 and then one at 7:15 and 7:30. Maybe I just went to the wrong one.
Maybe.
I'm like, maybe I just went to the one that nobody gave two shits about. Because, man, my theater was empty, and I feel that ruined my experience, too. Like, I'm in the theater with empty people, and this is a superhero movie blockbuster where you're supposed to, like, cheer. For Deadpool, people went crazy. And now Alexander's telling me that his theater was kind of packed. You're telling me your theater was packed. 100 people
I've
online are
only
telling me the
been-
same thing. What theater was I going to? Shit.
I've only been in 2 theaters in my whole life where people cheered. Actually, no, for 2 movies, because multiple theaters. I saw The Force Awakens, and I saw like multiple times opening weekends. Every theater I was in for that cheered, but only one other movie has ever had a theater cheer, and it was a movie that you guys both hate, and it was Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Got my theater effing hyped
Pumped.
for whatever reason.
All right,
But
Alexander.
what I can say for BVS is so my dad saw it, and he's the epitome of general audience. Just sees like 5 movies a year, and they're running the big blockbusters I drag him to go see. And this was one that he genuinely wanted to see. And he walked out, and he said it was really good, and he's excited for their Justice League film.
Ugh.
I had 7 other friends see it over this weekend. One of them
Where are these friends?
disliked it.
I need friends like this. They will make me
No,
feel
you
better
don't.
about myself.
No, no,
I need
Steve. It's
friends.
better you stay away from these people.
Because my friends and people that saw them just, they're like, nobody I know said the movie was good. I've heard okay and bad from people that I know in real life, not my online
Then
friends. Not
Then you
my
have
yeah.
the best friends possible.
Like I'm just lost.
I
But
had one friend dislike it, one friend say it was good, not great, and then 5 friends say it was awesome slash excellent slash great.
See, okay.
So I
Alexander,
think that general audiences are gonna
let's
like
go back
this
to your
movie a lot.
magical movie theater where people cheered as well. Tell me about this magical experience of yours.
Well, it started out like people were excited, but I could tell like when the movie was over, there were people applauding, but nobody was cheering. And when people applauded, I could tell they that it people were very split. That like it was like the Phantom Menace in the sense that
I do call
people
this
applauded.
the Star Wars effect. Star Wars prequel
Yeah,
effect,
people-
this movie.
The people applauded, but it wasn't coming from their heart. And throughout the whole movie, like, okay, the Avengers and The Force Awakens had several moments throughout the movie where you laughed, cheered, and stuff. My screening had nothing. I really think that this is the Phantom Menace of superhero movies, and I really feel like several years down the line, everyone's gonna go, yeah, that was a real piece of shit, and I had no idea what I was thinking.
I am in the same boat, but there are some hardcore um, Man of Steel fans, so I don't see that happening.
Yeah, we're among one of them.
Yeah,
Yeah.
man, yeah.
You'll get older.
No, I
I
just,
think
I
that
don't
this,
think.
well,
I
I've
generally
seen
think
Man of Steel
people.
10 times now, and I still love it.
Yeah.
I'd be shocked if I watch it and then be like, this is really bad. I acknowledge what moments that are universe or like that I understand why people don't like it, but none of those things bother me when I watch it,
Yeah,
and
I
I
mean,
can just focus on the
there's
things that
plenty
I
of people
really do
that I've
please
heard
me.
like that.
But and
All right.
also like one thing we have to acknowledge that even though this is the follow up to Man of Steel, this movie gave two shits couldn't give a shit about Superman at all. Like when we were talking about how this movie people were saying, "Oh, we drew inspiration from The Dark Knight Returns." It's like, yeah, you can tell because nobody likes Superman
I
in this
told
movie.
you-
You made him to be so uncharismatic, dull, boring, and it's just terrible.
Okay.
There's a scene where like everything around him explodes, and then we cut back to him inside the building with everything on fire, and he just has this blank expression.
Okay.
And I'm just like, "Fuck you, Zack Snyder."
So this is
And especially what they do at the ending, like
but
that's
don't
a
spoil it
clear
yet. We'll
sign
we'll
that
get to that in a minute.
Yeah,
you don't.
Okay, so
shit
I
about
already
do want to
said
say
too much.
something. I do want to say something. I told you that this was going to happen because they were going from fucking The Dark Knight Returns, which Frank Miller has point blank said he hates fucking Superman. And what happens in this movie? There is no way. As I'm watching it, I'm like, there's no way I'm supposed to root for you. Like, I want Batman to kill you because you're so fucking dumb and boring. But okay,
I'm gonna be honest. My first time watching this movie, I personally disagree with what you guys are saying about this movie doesn't care about Superman. Could he have had more of a focus? Sure, but I thought his story arc was effective for when I was watching the film, and I actually cried at moments for him.
what?
Yeah.
Oh my god. Okay, we're gonna go into spoilers for about 2 minutes because I have questions that I generally want to ask.
We
you
should
guys.
probably extend it because you were going to say it's 2, and then we'll go off on a
Okay.
tangent. So let's say
If
5.
you're watching the video, when what's behind you right now goes away, we've stopped talking about spoilers. So just letting you guys know. Okay, so
And then if you're listening to the audio feed, skip ahead 5 minutes, and then
Yeah,
if you
these
hear
are-
something
these
bad,
are-
just skip ahead.
these are
Stop
basic
listening.
questions that I just have to know and I have to ask you guys. So we're going to spoil a little bit of this. I literally got my because I was gonna make a video called Batman v Superman. I want answers. Like Straight up, that was a video, and I had the thumbnail and everything. Like,
So wait, can we talk about spoilers now?
yeah. But
Okay, Superman dies.
yes, the dumbest, whatever. Okay, these are my questions. What is Lex Luthor's plan?
Okay, the only thing that I don't understand of his plan is the framing in Africa part. That part is still like.
Wait. He framed him? He framed him? I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Was that said in the movie?
Yeah, it was.
When?
Multiple times.
Well, no. Multiple times it is known that they are going after Superman for what happened in Africa. I've never heard them say
or I'm
Lex
not
Luthor
sure,
framed
but
him.
they definitely do say that the bullets given to the African fighters were from LexCorp, and the mercenaries that shot everyone up in the first scene were mercenaries from LexCorp.
But that doesn't.
That were trying to frame Superman for all
anything.
deaths.
That doesn't say. That doesn't say anything.
Oh, trust me. That's the one part of his plan that I don't even understand why that even matters.
Okay.
But I mean, I have to think more about it.
I've got more questions about the plan. Okay, so
okay.
The African thing, I didn't even know that that was Lex's plan, because I don't know how. Plus, I also want to say
that's the only reason that entire subplot.
I also want to say Zack Snyder fucking saying that guy that got killed was Jimmy Olsen. Fuck you, Zack Snyder. Just throwing it out there. Moving on. What is Lex's plan with Doomsday?
As far as I grasp it, I know that his whole thing, the reason that he hates Superman is because of his godlike figure, and he has multiple monologues talking about how God, if God is good, he can't be all powerful, and vice versa.
Okay.
So I think that he
Lex Luthor
wanted
hates
to create
God.
Doomsday to kill Superman as a backup plan in case Batman didn't.
So what happened?
And then I think
what would have happened if Batman killed Superman? Just fuck it, we're fucked. Doomsday's here.
Well, I think that he would not have.
No. Doomsday was created. He did nothing to make him come out. That just happened. Like he did the creation way before the fight. That was already happening.
Yeah.
So once
they
the fight is
set
over,
it up
once the
throughout
fight
whole
is over,
movie.
like that, Doomsday was going to be born. So I'm just wondering.
Yeah, but
like, what the fuck was the plan?
didn't he like? Because
he didn't hit a
because he says something like, "Oh, meet your Doomsday," and then he turns around, and then at that moment,
no, that was just bad editing once again. Like,
and that was shitty dialogue.
Convenience, perfect timing of right when you say that Doomsday shows up. Okay, so that was.
I thought he did something,
Oh,
but
I
I
didn't.
I could
I'll watch it tomorrow.
I thought he did. I thought his plan was if Batman does kill him, then he's like, okay. We're good.
So
because he knows Batman's identity, he can screw him.
Okay, can I ask something about Doomsday?
Yes.
So, so Steve, you're the comic guy. And correct me if I'm wrong, but Doomsday is supposed to be like slightly bigger than Superman.
He's pretty big. I mean, he's pretty big. Yeah, he's pretty big. No. I mean, let me look. Let me bring up a picture.
From what I've seen, like Doomsday is like maybe a little slightly bigger than Superman. Why is he as big as King Kong in this movie? Why is he? I mean, like giant monster sized.
He's supposed to be like the Hulk compared to Iron Man. So
Superman?
No, Hulk to Iron Man is like what Doomsday is to Superman. He's pretty big.
Well, here it's like he's not. He's bigger than the Hulk. He's like I said, he's as big as King Kong. He might as well have been on Skull Island fighting King Kong. It would have been a better movie.
He is pretty big, but
that island was uninhabited. They said so multiple times.
They did say that.
No one died during that entire battle, man.
Yeah, they did say that just for convenience sake.
Okay, that's another thing. You try to build this movie to saying, okay, we're going to address the ending of Man of Steel, and yet you half-assedly say, oh yeah, everyone evacuated. I'm like,
to be
bullshit.
fair, where they are fighting is that island, like in between Gotham and Metropolis. So I'm like, okay, I can kind of see that.
Then my other problem.
Even so, you don't just simply say, oh, everyone just evacuated by pure convenience. It's like bullshit.
I'm not even
like
mad.
if there's one thing. Okay,
I'm not even mad at that, but yeah.
I know a lot of people aren't crazy about Age of Ultron, but one thing you got to give Age of Ultron credit is that it shows the heroes doing their duty and saving civilians.
That's one of my favorite parts of that movie. It's good.
The Doomsday thing or the Ultron thing?
No, I was saying the Age of Ultron, them saving people.
Okay, well, So yeah, I agree with Alexander. They didn't. My problem. One of my problems with the movie that I didn't address. I think my thing is like, I thought the Superman was going to answer for what he did in Man of Steel, and he didn't. We skip 18 months, and he answers for what happened in Africa. That's what happens,
Mhm.
and I'm like, oh,
Honestly, that's my main
I'm
complaint
like,
with
what
the
happened
movie is
there?
I feel
I thought the
the
beginning
whole
was amazing.
Africa thing should have been cut out and just have him be on the stand
Yeah,
for the Metropolis
that's what it makes
incident.
more sense.
Because
Um,
like unless I'm missing something with because it's 100% confirmed that Lex was the one that did that whole framing thing and
which is just poorly
organized all
set
of
up
that.
or poorly
So
edited.
unless there's some thing that I'm missing there in his plan, if it's not that, then if you cut out that whole Africa subplot, that cuts out like 25 minutes of this movie,
Which would have
and then
you could have added
it's a
other
much
shit.
better paced film.
You could have added other things.
And you could have cut out those terrible dream sequences.
Yes,
Like I
yes.
thought I
I actually
thought
like
we
them.
as a society and as an industry, we were past doing dream sequences in movies. You need to cut that shit out.
Hey, I was gonna say one of my biggest worries going into this movie was, and this might sound dumb, but I love the fight sequences in Man of Steel because I'm a sucker for aerial battles. I love the How to Train Your Dragon franchise because of the fight sequences. I even like that like Zack Snyder Owl movie just because there's like aerial action in it. And I think it's fun to watch. But I was like, I'm excited to see Batman Superman fight, but Batman can't fly, and I do want the aerial action. And then 4 minutes into this movie, Batman or like 10-year-old Bruce Wayne starts like ascending up the
Okay,
well or whatever, and I was like, oh my god,
Okay,
are
question.
they
Another question.
are they actually gonna
why?
have Batman flying in this?
Oh, that was
And then you said
awful.
drinks. So I was like,
VB,
thank God.
that was awful. I want to let you guys know that the beginning, okay, the little Bruce Wayne thing at the beginning, I hated. But once Ben Affleck shows up for the first time, I loved it. The beginning Bruce Wayne thing was awful. We didn't need to see that. The flying shit for no reason was dumb. I get it. It was
The
dumb.
flying shit was done.
It was dumb
I
as
will
hell. Him falling, the slow motion sequences. Stop it, Snyder. Stop it. There was like 100 of them shits in this thing. So,
And
why
that
do you need
and
so many
have you
slow motion
noticed
scenes? So many. Like the Pearl thing. I'm like,
Isn't that because
what? That's his style.
that's directly from the Dark Knight Returns?
No, but why in slow motion?
Yeah, you
I
don't
don't
need
mind.
it in
I don't
slow
mind the
motion.
scenes. I'm just
and
saying.
you don't
It
need
was
okay,
His style. He always does it. He does it in 300. He does it in Watchmen. He does it in Sucker Punch. He always does it. I don't know
he
why
didn't-
he
Well,
didn't
that's
do it
a
in Dawn of
dreamlike
the Dead.
sequence because that's supposed to be the exact moments that stick with Bruce Wayne.
I didn't even.
So
I didn't.
and it's a whole thing of
I
like
didn't get
like when
that.
super important things happen, time slows down.
I didn't get that. They didn't explain
So
that.
I
To me, they didn't. Explain.
Oh, trust me, this movie does not explain much
See, that's my
in terms
problem.
of making it easy to grasp, but it's there.
It's just not okay. So this is my thing. People were praising
It's just not
this,
very
people
well
are
laid
praising
out.
this movie. Okay, if you're back, we're still talking spoilers. Sorry. Okay, my problem is that everybody is calling this thing great, but all it did was take 100 Easter eggs from 100 years of DC Comics and throw them at the screen. That doesn't make a great movie to me. You're just throwing Easter eggs like everything. Like it's just a bunch of Easter eggs. We saw the lasso of hope here for like 2 seconds, but she was using it. How she can hold fucking Doomsday down? Fuck it, she's doing it.
you
She's
you
fucking
think that's
doing it. Then my other thing
you
is
think
what happened?
you think that's bad? Why don't we talk about the forced introduction to each Justice League member
Oh, no,
via
I
fucking email?
I hated that. I hated that. And people,
But Lex
I've
Luthor-
gotten into a bunch of things about that. They don't even explain how he fucking found that. They don't explain how he knows that Doomsday's coming. Is he fucking God? Like, how does he know half this shit? How does he know?
You mean
this stuff?
Darkseid,
or Darkseid?
not
Yeah,
Doomsday?
sorry. Darkseid. He knows that.
Uh,
How does
the
he
only
know
thing-
Darkseid's coming? Then
I'm not sure exactly how he knows, but they do say that when,
Let the
when he
man
goes into
finish.
Zod's ship.
Yeah.
When he goes into Zod's ship, they say that there's like the data for 100,000 species, and then Eisenberg says, "Teach it to me," and then it cuts away.
Well,
So
wouldn't-
in between
wouldn't
cuts,
Superman
he
know
could have
that?
learned about it.
Wouldn't Superman know that?
Did Superman?
Yeah,
No.
Superman was part
but
of it. He did the whole ship shit too. Wouldn't he know that from Man of Steel?
they never exactly say that he studied it.
Yeah, so
But
yeah,
Lex did.
okay, so the part where Flash shows up in the dream sequence, that's from the video game Batman, just whatever the fuck
Well, it's
what's that damn
the dream
video game?
sequence itself is their
Injustice?
depiction
Injustice, yes.
of injustice, and
Yeah.
then as far as I understand, the Flash coming back
But
is them
That
hinting towards
okay.
Flashpoint potentially.
That's the thing. It's like
Okay, was
you're
that
pointing at injustice, and then you're pointing at the Flashpoint paradox, and then you're giving us the Doomsday story. Then you're giving us the fucking the Batman origin story one more time. Then you're showing in Wonder Woman. Just because they're throwing a million Easter eggs from a million comic books, I just don't get why people are praising it. You like the email version of Finding the Superheroes? Okay.
Are you serious?
No. I'm talking about Dylan did. He thought
I
it was
think
okay.
it's
Yeah, that's what I'm
lazy.
talking about.
I think it's
He's
lazy,
not the only one.
but when the first time it happened, I'm like, oh, it's really cool seeing them, and now I'm watching it, and I'm just laughing at the sheer ridiculousness that Lex Luthor, like in his spare time, designed these logos for Wonder Woman and Cyborg and Flash,
Yeah,
and was
but
like,
you're
oh,
not,
this
you're not alone.
will be great.
I've heard people say that people have said in all the groups that I'm in that they love that moment. They love the fact that Aquaman's introduction was the most awkward moment in the movie.
Oh, it
Like,
was.
whoa, like that. Who edited
Even the
that?
first time I watched it,
Who edited
the first
that?
time I watched it, I had two complaints of the whole movie. I had Batman flying was weird, and Aquaman stared into my soul like about 30 seconds too long.
All right. I want to get through my questions real quick before I go. Why does nobody call Batman Batman? They call him the Bat. So Batman, if Batman's been doing this for a long time, why is he not called Batman? Just want to know.
And why
They call him
does
that.
No, they call him the Bat. They call it.
they
Maybe
yeah,
I missed
there's
it.
not
Maybe
one.
I missed it, but I swear I was waiting for them to say the Batman.
No, you know what?
They kept saying
Actually,
the Bat.
if I may, there is a point when Perry White, is that the guy
Yeah.
who owns Daily Planet?
he
Yeah,
calls him that?
there is a
No,
point where he
cares that Clark
says,
Kent take on Batman.
Oh, what did he say? I
yeah,
didn't hear it.
which, although I will say, we got our first live action appearance of Aquaman, and he still sucks.
Yeah, I didn't like that at all. But okay, so I didn't hear the Batman thing, so he did call him at once. Why is Wonder Woman in the movie?
Because
she's trying to
no
keep
reason.
her secret identity.
Why?
As far as I know-
She's trying to steal a photo from Lex. That's why she's in the movie. That's her
Yeah,
purpose?
and then the reason she's at the party is because she's also there to try to steal the photo,
photo?
out of his hard drives.
One photo. Okay.
Yeah,
Um,
That's
one
why.
photo that's probably
Yeah.
out there on the internet.
Yeah, I didn't. Yeah, I was confused about.
Well, it is now because of his amazing logos on the folders, and then it got sent through Gmail or
But-
whatever it was. Plain
Really,
mail.
Wonder Woman? Okay, let me say this.
She
For
looked
the
good.
little bit I saw of Wonder Woman, I actually did like her. But her role is pretty much Black Widow's role in Iron Man 2. You look at it and go, what was the point of that?
I agree. Yeah, she didn't make no sense in the movie. Her going after the photo, her and her interaction with Batman, they become friends way too fast. Which brings me to my other thing is, I need to know why Batman with Superman were actually fighting.
No reason. Their whole thing
well-
could have been solved by a conversation because it was all a misunderstanding.
Agreed, but they do lay out why they fight.
Why? I really want to know.
Well,
Ego.
Well,
You said
Batman's
them off the
motivation is fairly clear. They spend like a half hour. So do I have to go over his
No.
motivation?
I get that everything that happened, why he wants to kill
Okay.
Batman or Superman, but when Superman shows up to fight him or to talk to him, Batman hits him one time, doesn't really hurt him, and then he just decides to kick his ass, and then that's when the fight starts. It would have just been like, "Hey, dude, they have my mother. Can you help me?" Yes, let's go. But then it's like, no, nobody decides to talk. Lois Lane hears a conversation from like a mile away.
He does try to
decides
talk,
to show.
to
Yeah,
his credit.
but he could have stood 10 feet away or 20 feet away and just said, "Hey, dude, he has my mother." Instead, he keeps coming closer and walking towards him and just triggering all the traps which are straight out of the Dark Knight Returns. Cool, which is how he would fight him. I enjoy almost everything from the Batman aspect. They rushed a lot of the thing, but I don't think Ben Affleck is the best Batman. He's the best looking Batman, but that could have been anybody from cosplay in a costume.
I actually
he's
think he is.
You think so?
He's at
I
least
don't know.
my favorite Batman.
He's
And
good.
One thing,
It's my favorite.
one thing I'll say is that one other thing I really like about him is that he's the first Batman since Michael Keaton to smile and still look
So
kind of scary.
all right, so you guys like him. I would put him tied for number 2. I still like. I mean, he's probably the best overall Bruce Wayne and Batman because I don't think that Bale made the best Bruce Wayne. I think he made a better Bruce Wayne, but I think Bale was a better Batman. But the fighting style in this
Huh.
Batman is better. I don't know. It's a mixture. He's up there. He's good.
Yeah.
My other problem with the movie was the reason that they stopped fighting. Everybody has to admit it was stupid. I'm sorry, Dylan. It was dumb.
Oh,
The Martha thing is dumb.
I can't even defend
Okay,
it.
thank you.
I just think it's kind of ridiculous. I know, my only defense I would even come up like I do like the whole thing that is it's in that moment that Bruce Wayne realized that
Hmm.
But
sees him as a
Why
human and
talk
not
it
as an
out?
alien.
Talk it out. Show some emotion there.
Oh,
Like that would have been so. Like just add.
that's
Like,
what I would rather
two
like.
more minutes of him realizing it and just talk. Like just literally every scene in this movie is like a minute away from fucking greatness. Like every scene is like you added dialogue.
No,
You add
not even
dialogue
close.
here. To me, you add dialogue here. You explain this. You connect this to this. You trim a few things here and there, and I think you could have had something really good.
Are you gonna watch the ultimate cut
Oh
when
yeah,
it comes
I'm gonna
out?
watch it. I'm a fan of the characters. I mean, then the last thing I have here,
Yeah,
is
if like the question, if are you gonna watch the ultimate cut, Alexander? Or are we like, you're out of your goddamn mind if
you're
you're
not gonna
making me
watch it.
sit. Fuck no, I'm not watching it. Why would I sit through 30 more minutes of a shitty movie? Yeah,
I have
that
to.
has
I have
no
to because they're
reason
gonna.
to be rated R. First of all,
Yeah,
What if it
I'm
gets good
intrigued.
reviews though?
No,
it's
What if,
not
like,
gonna
good
review it.
reviews.
I am
It's
intrigued though.
not
You don't know that.
making a movie longer does not help most of the time.
Actually, there's this movie called Kingdom of Heaven, I think, which Ridley Scott made, and the theatrical cut is awful.
Okay,
And he added
yeah.
40 minutes
I
to it
didn't-
to a movie that had a 39% on Rotten Tomatoes, and and that the director's cut is considered one of Ridley Scott's
Wait,
best films.
is that good? Because I swear
Yeah.
I saw Kingdom of Heaven in the theater and it sucked. I didn't see the director's
Oh
cut.
yeah, apparently the director's cut is fantastic.
Well, I mean, the Donner cut is the best Superman 2. I mean, version. So, all right. The last thing I want to point out here is, um, the same reason I asked why is Wonder Woman here, and the same. I'm gonna ask again. I'm asking for a different character. Why is Lois Lane in this movie?
So she can fall and be saved by Superman.
like
There's
she-
literally no reason for her to be in this whole series.
Everybody knows that Zack Snyder does not love female characters. I mean, you saw Sucker Punch. It's just females looking sexy and fighting ninjas and robots in bikinis. I mean, that's what he does. It's what he does.
Yeah.
He does.
Oh, yeah.
In Watchmen, it's what he does, and he doesn't treat women well. But then my problem is that every single time Lois Lane showed up, I rolled my eyes because I don't like Amy Adams as Lois Lane. And then
Oh, you don't?
I don't know. No, I really don't. I really think she's horrible. Lois Lane is not supposed to be like that. She whatever you want to change.
Oh,
her,
okay.
You changed her character, fine. But then every time she shows up, like Alexander pointed out, it's to be rescued. It's to do dumb shit. Dumb shit. The spear thing, dumb shit.
Ugh.
Okay, but then every time, and then like the love, to me, Henry Cavill and her have no chemistry. So every time they're doing things, I'm like, he's trying and she's trying and
No. Amy Adams is trying.
No,
Henry Cavill
he
is not trying
I
at
think
all.
he is trying. I just don't think.
What do you mean he's not trying?
I think he's
it's more just that his. I think it's more that the dialogue in this movie for Henry Cavill is not very good, but he's definitely trying to deliver
he's
it.
a shit actor in this movie. He is terrible, along with Jesse Eisenberg.
Okay. Oh, we didn't get to that, but I don't think he's terrible. I just think his
Jolly Rancher scene was fantastic.
Okay. All right. Wait. Okay. Okay. So I don't even know what Lois Lane's job is. Like, I don't know why you needed to make her be this reporter that goes all over the world, goes to like Africa. Jimmy Olsen's her partner. Jimmy Olsen is fucking FBI. Okay. The fucking nerdy reporter that's friends with Superman is now the FBI badass agent that gets a bullet to the head.
Okay, so
Cool.
So the girl around who just hangs out around the Daily Planet. That's
Jenny
not
Olsen.
Jimmy Olsen with the
That's
sex
Jenny
change.
Olsen. That is Jenny Olsen, but in an interview, Zack Snyder said that the Jimmy Olsen of this universe is that guy. Cool, whatever.
Yeah. It also was in the credits.
Yeah, it's what he called him.
Also, interestingly, Zack Snyder is not credited in the end credits of this film
as what director?
as nothing. He's just his name does not. His name
Well, 'cause-
only
'cause
appears
his name
as,
appears like 3
as
times at the
assistant
beginning.
to Z Snyder. Oh yeah, I know. But I thought it
Because
was
this movie
interesting.
has opening credits.
Yeah, like
That's
like
why.
literally,
Oh, is
his
that
name
why?
is like
Okay.
a Zack Snyder film, a film brought to you by Zack Snyder, directed by Zack Snyder. I'm like, oh man, damn, calm your ego down. But
At least he's At least he's not Tommy Wiseau.
So what
He
was
would
my
have made a better movie.
no, I'm not
He
gonna
would
go there.
not.
But so yeah, so
It
I
would have been more entertaining.
I was so disappointed by this movie because of all
See
the problems,
neighbors.
and then everybody, even you, Dylan, you admit there's problems, but you had so much fun, which is the difference. You
Yeah.
had fun when you watched this movie. I didn't have fun when I watched it because for the first hour I was bored, and then Batman v Superman, they don't fight until the ending, and that's literally right before Doomsday, right
And
before Doomsday.
that's 5 minutes long.
Yeah, they don't even fight. That's an
Hmm.
that's gonna be my problem if it happens in Civil War if they don't actually fight. But
Oh, that
They're gonna find
Marvel's
no,
smart
but
enough to
but
not
I
do
just
that.
if it's that kind of fight, because like there was a scene with Civil War where you saw Black Widow and Hawkeye goofing off, like, are we still friends, as they're punching each other? And I'm like, oh, what's going on? But then there was one more thing I wanted to point out, and I forgot what it was. Jimmy
Jesse
Olsen.
Eisenberg.
Oh yeah, Jesse Eisenberg. Did you guys hear that he was initially supposed to be the Riddler, and he was initially supposed to be Jimmy Olsen as a bad guy? That's quotes from Zack Snyder.
I didn't know,
You know what?
that he was supposed to be Riddler, but I knew that he was supposed to be Jimmy Olsen
Well,
originally.
his
He said no,
characteristics, according to what I read, were supposed to be Riddler-esque, even
Oh,
though he was
okay.
playing Alex Luthor, I think is like Lex
He's
Luthor
supposed
Jr.
he's supposed to play Lex Luthor Jr.
Yeah, but originally he was supposed to be Jimmy Olsen, the bad guy. Like if Jimmy Olsen went bad, which I don't mind alternate takes on the thing. I like Alien, Superman, Alien. What the fuck's that? The Bend
American Alien.
American Alien. That's a great story. So I don't mind.
I'm excited to read it this
People are
August.
calling. People keep saying that I can't accept change for like the characters. That's not my problem. If you're gonna take licenses with the characters, do something with it and explain. Like
Yeah.
every nightmare sequence with Batman made no sense. Like was the ending of Batman's? Was the ending with Lex Luthor in the jail? Was that a dream when Batman showed up? Was that not a dream? Like, so he was at the funeral and then just showed up there, or was that just a horrible editing job where we're like, oh, that's what he
I
did
think it
before he
was
went
a-
to the funeral?
That's bad
I
editing,
think
bro.
it was
okay.
that bad editing job, or it was non chronological editing,
Yeah, it was just
kind of
weird.
like what they do in Spring Breakers a lot.
Okay, yeah. I don't know. So
You know,
the movie
fact
just
that-
has so many problems, man.
the
And
fact that
structure problems.
like Zack Snyder said, oh, before he was Lex, he was supposed to be the Riddler or Jimmy Olsen as a bad guy, really does set a prime example that DC, nobody's steering this ship. Nobody is at the role of producer, like a Kevin Feige equivalent, to say, no, you can't do this. This is the plan we're setting up.
Who is the
We're
head?
going to do it.
Who is the head over there?
It's all run by the guy who's in charge of Warner Brothers. DC does not have.
Yeah, I think
They
that
do-
I think Snyder might be that guy now, because it does say in Suicide Squad that Snyder executively produced it along with his wife. But what
Then
they do
DC
say
is fucked. Huh?
but what Warner Brothers has said is that they want this to be filmmaker driven, and basically this movie comes down
That's
to,
obviously.
do you like Zack Snyder? Yes or no. If you like Zack Snyder, you'll like this movie. You don't like Zack Snyder, you won't like this movie. And I feel, but that makes me excited for the rest
But
of the
that's like
DC
saying,
universe.
do
in
you
terms
like
of
Michael
James
Bay?
Wan's gonna have a movie, and David Ayer is gonna have a movie.
Okay, so if what you say is true, then I'm going with Alexander. We're fucked. Because if there's no head at the top, it's just director driven. It's here's the characters, do whatever the fuck you want with them. That's not a good motto. If you're gonna do that, then make nothing connected. Just make them standalone movies. All of them. That would work. Just make them standalone movies. But if you want to connect them, how do you have no head? Like nobody's driving the car.
Yeah, here's an example. Here's a prime example here. Lucasfilm. Ryan Johnson and J.J. Abrams had a lot of their regulars come on board, like their regular editors or cinematographers. But the show's run by Kathleen Kennedy. She's the person in charge.
That's the thing.
And so, yeah, you got to have somebody in charge, and DC clearly does not.
The last thing I'm going to say is I can guarantee you Suicide Squad will be a good movie. Or at least an end of watch good. Like, it'll be a decent. It'll be, David Ayer rarely makes shit. So it won't be
Sabotage.
shit. I said rarely. I didn't say ever. I said rarely. He made a bad movie, but then he made End of Watch. I think he has Harsh Times. It'll be a good movie or a decent movie. It won't be bad. And then Wonder Woman, I have a lot of faith in that movie because if it's director driven, I think the Wonder Woman story is gonna be told well. And I guarantee that after Wonder Woman comes out, I bet everybody's gonna be like, well, damn, this should have come out first because.
Yeah.
If that would have come out first and then Wonder Woman would have been and Batman v Superman, people would have been like, "Oh, now I get her character. It makes sense." But here, she's like a shoo-in.
which is why it makes no sense to have Aquaman and Flash and Cyborg after Justice League.
Like it's just
it makes no sense
so
at all. And
if Snyder did this with just these three characters, he's gonna have to shoe in 4 more origin stories or 3 more origin stories. 4, 3.
Well, they didn't even explain Wonder Woman's origin, and they won't. I don't think they'll have to explain Aquaman.
They do, though. They have to explain it. People,
or at least like be like, "Oh, this is what happened."
Like,
no.
One of my problems with this movie is the first time you hear somebody call her Diana Prince or Prince is when she's on the plane getting off. Why does the stewardess know? The stewardess just randomly yells out for convenience sake. Like if the audience doesn't know who she is, "Hey, Miss Prince, where are you going?"
And here's the thing.
Name out there?
Wonder Woman has never been in a big budget movie before, so you have to have an origin story to introduce mainstream characters to the mainstream audience members to the character, because everyone knows Batman, Superman, and Spider-Man's origin. Nobody knew about Iron Man, Thor, Captain America until the movies came out. They have to do the same thing with Aquaman, Wonder Woman, and Flash because people like me don't know their origin stories.
You would have had it would have been better if they would have just taken out Wonder Woman and shoe in Cyborg, because like that made sense. Because
I mean, I personally,
what's Wonder Woman's origin story, Dylan? Do you know? Nobody knows.
I know that she was on a island of Amazonians,
but
and
where?
she has the connections.
Who are the Amazonians? Why doesn't Wonder Woman get pissed off when she sees Aquaman? She's supposed to hate that motherfucker. They had a war. People died. They are supposed to hate one another. I didn't know that. That's the thing. Is like they have a story. Aquaman and Wonder Woman are supposed to hate each other because from their not them but their people. So she's supposed to have an automatic hate for him. But then it's like they shoo him in, and you're like, Wonder Woman shows up, and then she's just. And then my other thing is, if the way they were gonna do her in this movie, she shouldn't have been in the trailer, because when she shows up later, as we're watching, we all know who she is. But they set it up like she's supposed to be a mysterious character. We know who she is. Like that's my problem.
That didn't bother me too much. The only thing I think they showed too much was they showed her actual entrance as Wonder Woman. I would have rather not seen that in the trailer too. But all the action shots they showed, and then they showed her, I was like, oh, that's fine. Okay.
Just my thing is like,
she jumps. That's cool.
I think that, like, I'm the guy that defended Fantastic Four, and I will tell you right now, I enjoyed this equally as much as Fantastic Four, and I said it in my review. The only problem with Fantastic Four is that the ending falls off harder. That's the difference. The ending for this one doesn't really fall off; it just stays the same. But it's just like
it's the same. It's consistently shitty.
No, but it's consistently bad. Fantastic Four is okay, and then gets clusterfuck, like just clusterfuck. Like that's the difference.
You know what?
But
I'll give you that.
I wanted this movie. People keep telling me that, oh, you went in wanting it to be bad. I don't want this movie to be bad. Like, you don't understand. I love these fucking characters. I don't want them to be bad. Like, if I had to choose a DC movie to be bad, I would have wanted Suicide Squad to suck. That's what I would want. Like, these are characters I love, and like you guys both adore Ben Affleck. Henry Cavill needs a better writer, man. He is getting shitted on as Superman. Like, people keep telling me that he's better than Brandon Roth, but are you serious? Is he?
I mean, those are Superman I've seen.
But is he better than Brandon Roth? Brandon Roth has.
I thought Roth did.
He has a character.
Did a good job.
The only thing this Superman has is that he looks more like a badass, and Roth looks like Christopher Reeves. That's the difference.
And that's the thing. It's like, to go to Christopher Reeve for a second. I know a lot of people go, oh, you need to stop holding on to the past and move on to the new shit. And I'm like,
I agree.
I don't want to do that when the new
sometimes.
shit is. Yeah, but here's the thing about Christopher Reeve. The reason people still love him as Superman is because he was charming. He gave Superman a personality to where you could go, Yeah, I like this guy. Henry Cavill has none of
Yeah,
that.
he doesn't do that. So, I mean, we'll end it.
Well,
We'll
he
end
can
it.
definitely do
He
it. It's just
could.
the script
He,
hasn't allowed
I
him to.
like.
Have you
I
seen
liked.
Man from Uncle?
Yes, I like Man from Uncle. I even say after that review, my review, I'm like, I like him here. I got excited to see your next you next to Superman. You show charisma.
like
you
that.
have fun. You are there. Do something in Superman. Stop. Tell
Well,
Zack
again-
Snyder to stop writing you like shit. Whoever wrote this movie, they're writing
Well, again,
you
it
like
shows
shit.
that the people making this don't like Superman.
It just bothers me, and I was worried about
think
that.
that's-
I was
yes.
worried, and I said it months ago. I'm like the stories they're taking from those writers don't care about Superman, and that's what it felt like.
Yeah, well,
and the
you know
last
what?
thing I'll
Let's-
say before we move on is
Okay,
for all you
thank
guys
God.
that hate Max Landis, his review of this movie, which isn't even a review, he just comes out and says it. This isn't a Superman story. This isn't a Batman story. This is not any of those kind of stories from the past. It's a brand new thing with a different take. They're taking the names and doing what they want with them. That's it. They have no connection at all to anything from the other movies. They're combining stories. That's all they're doing.
So is that a negative?
No,
response or
he
positive?
just said that he watched it and he's like he watched it and didn't think about anything Batman or Superman related. He just couldn't. He says he can't because they're not that. They're like if you would have called Superman Great Man and Batman Dark Man, there you go. It would have made equals. It would have been the same movie because they're not taking the stories and doing anything really special with them. Like the whole Robin thing, people wanted to happen. We didn't get no answers for that. I mean, there's just so many things that we thought we were gonna get and we got nothing. Maybe we'll get him in the Batman when that comes out, and I'm super pumped about that because that'd be cool.
Yeah.
I wonder who's gonna direct
Did
that.
you
If
hear
it is
that-
Affleck, that'd be awesome.
Yeah.
Well, it's basically confirmed, considering Ben Affleck's confirmed that him and Jeff Johns are working on quote
The
something.
script.
So they're working on the Batman.
He should have got Scott Snyder to help him write Batman. He does nothing related to the Snyder, just
Yeah, I know.
all right, you know
He
what?
was the one that did the new 52 Batman. Which
All right,
is
you know what?
really
We've talked about this
for like
we've
25
talked about
minutes.
this- yeah, we've talked about this piece of shit for I think over an hour. So let's move on to something
Holy
hopefully better.
Now that visions are sitting high on my own gold throne, never listening criticism. I built my